Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here from simpleprogrammer.com. I just realized it's book review time, and I hadn't reviewed this book that I read that took me a long time to read. The book is Unscripted. It's by DeMarco. You can check out the book here, and you can check out my interview with MJ. He's a really awesome guy here. Of course, the links are in the card. You can just click the card thing, or it's in the description below as well. I actually got my signed copy of Unscripted here. I don't know if you can see the signature. Yes, MJ DeMarco, such a nice guy. He actually sent me a signed copy of this. So I have to say, this book was really interesting. I read his first book, which I have a signed copy of as well, The Millionaire Fastlane. I think a lot of you in my audience here had recommended me to read this book. Again, I'll put a link to Millionaire Fastlane, a really, really good book. And so when I heard MJ was coming out with the new book, I was obviously very excited, and it did not disappoint. This is a really good book. It's really long. I'll tell you. I'll be honest with you. And some of you that have read Millionaire Fastlane, I'm still going to recommend Millionaire Fastlane as my go-to book to give to people. But after they've read Millionaire Fastlane and they're sort of have taken the red pill, this is a good follow-up book. It's long. It's difficult to read, but it's got a lot of the secrets of life in there, right? The whole book is called Unscripted, and it's about this idea of not living the scripted life. And the first section of the book goes into just a ton of stuff of what is the modern day script and what are all these lies that we believe in, right? And I was totally sold on the scripted life, right? I mean, when I grew up, I was taught that you go to school, you get a good job, right? You get good grades, in the other order, but, and then you go to college, and then you work for a company, and, and then hopefully someday you retire after you put all your money in your 401k and, just do the smart and wise thing, which in the Millionaire Fastlane, he calls that the slow lane. And that's how most people think. Like, most successful people think that way, but the ultra successful people don't think that way. They think in an unscripted way. And he really, highlights in this book that you're kind of being a slave, and you're kind of like giving your life up in order to live the stupid scripted existence that you don't have to live. So after that, he basically, wakes you up. And then after that, he goes into a section on what it means to like be unscripted. So the unscripted life. He talks about his story, about how he lives, how I live, right? I'm one of those people that's unscripted. I live a pretty ridiculous lifestyle of doing whatever I want, traveling, and being able to be free because I'm financially free, right? And he talks about what it's like, which I think is important to understand. Again, it's pretty long, so it takes a while to get through this stuff, but it's important to understand. Then he talks about how to escape, right? How to go from the unscripted life to a scripted, or from a scripted life to an unscripted life, and kind of the entrepreneurial framework that. And I feel like I do have to admit that the whole entrepreneurial framework thing, that it was a little bit too much just with the equation. But he used a lot of pieces of sort of equations to build up this stuff. But regardless, the advice is really, really good, right? So then he goes and he gives you an actual entrepreneurial framework of how you can actually build a business, what's important about thinking about building a business, how to make a successful, scalable business, right? Not just one that's going to pay your rent, but one that has the opportunity to make you a lot of passive income and actually make you rich, right? And I think this is really important because a lot of people tell you how to build a business, but they don't think about the consequences. They don't think about which kind of businesses are good ones and which ones scale and all of that. So he's got a lot of stories in here that talk about that. And then finally, he talks about basically this money never working again, right? Becoming financially independent, and how he's got his money tied up in a bunch of stocks, dividend-paying stocks and bonds, and then he basically gets 5% return on his money, and that's what he calls his money machine, right? And so it's like the idea is that it's the same framework that I've applied in life, except I do it with real estate. But you build a business, you make a lot of money from that business, you take that money and you invest it into whatever it is that's going to pay you a constant stream of money. So in his case, it's bonds and high dividend yielding stocks. In my case, it's real estate, but it's the same basic idea, is that's your money machine, and that's what you live off of, and then it never draws down, and you're basically financially independent for the rest of your life. So it takes a long time to get through this book. I will tell you, it is not the easiest read. Like Millionaire Fastlane is a much easier read, but there's a lot of stories and stuff in here. So if you've already have this mindset and you've already built a business and stuff, you're not going to find this book as valuable. Okay. I'll just tell you up front, because if you're already familiar with all this, right, you're gonna be like, okay, let me get to the good stuff. And there's some good stuff in here for you as well. But if you're currently in the position where you are working a regular job, you don't know, you're like, I don't even see any other way to live, right? And you want freedom, and you don't understand how it's possible that people like me, for instance, or MJ DeMarco, are able to live these kind of lives where they can go and travel the world, right? You can check out my videos from this year on traveling Europe for a couple months, but where they can travel the world and they can live this lifestyle and they can make all this money and basically have passive income. If that is news to you, this book is going to wake you up, right? You got to get through it. It's going to be a little bit of a tough read. Like I said, I'm just warning you because I want you to be successful with this. It's not as smooth of a read as Millionaire Fastlane. I would start with Millionaire Fastlane, honestly, but Unscripted is like more of the Bible. It's more of the complete, like from A to Z on this mindset in changing your life and building the business, and then what you do afterwards in order to build that passive income. So I highly recommend the book. Like I said, it's solid advice. MJ DeMarco is a really cool guy, and he's giving you his stories. He's giving you his play. This is his playbook, right? Like this is exactly. He's not holding anything back. This is exactly what he's done, and he's giving you all of it so you can understand how you can build a similar lifestyle to like he's built, like I've built. So I definitely recommend it. Go check it out, Unscripted. And if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos here. Click the bell so you get notified when a new video comes out. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.